Good morning. For today's meditation, I want to talk a little bit about experience. And I've been very fortunate. I've had some very fascinating and informing and beautiful experiences. And those experiences have really provided a grounding for me to be able to understand how to handle some of the other aspects of my life that maybe I might be prone to react to or to respond in the context of my personality. And those kinds of reactions inevitably result in negative results. And so to avoid just being in a reactive mode all the time or to be suffering from personality, it's important to develop a practice of meditating on experience. In other words, the stuff that happens to me is the stuff I really spend time meditating on. I mean, literally meditating on. Those are the topics. That's the stuff I want to spend my energy on understanding and coming to grips with and to developing in a way that is coherent with my life calling. So our experiences can be meditated on. They're not just locked in a memory bank that you can pull out now and again in order to, make a note in a memoir. What I'm suggesting is that these are really the subjects of your study. These are the ways that you lean deeper into life and what it means. It's in the context of our own experience. So when I was a young boy, 11 or so, I had a very profound experience, an experience of beauty descending on me as a being, as an entity. And that experience was profound and beautiful and physically. It was physical. And that's an important point because it wasn't something that I learned in a lecture hall. It wasn't something that came to me through another individual's teaching or coercion or insistence. No, it was not that. It was a real experience, a deep experience. And every one of the experiences that I've had have been very physical, very emotional. I can talk about the feelings that were associated with them. And that's very different than some of the other aspects of the world where, we intellectualize, we codify, we create doctrines and dogmas and a lot of other things that take us away from our experience. And so sometimes we get caught in the topic of faith. Well, you should believe that because it's what's true. And I have to say, well, no, wait a minute. I know the classic definition of faith is to believe in things unseen. I'm saying it's more difficult and more challenging and more interesting to believe in what you see, to believe in what happened to you, to say yes, to verify it in the context of your meditations, that there could be misunderstandings. There could be a aspect of your experience that you didn't understand or didn't fully comprehend. Hence the need to go back and revisit it in your journal, to write about it, to bring it up in your meditations, to reimagine the experience. What could it have meant? How does it reflect on what I'm doing right now? There's a powerful aspect to that allows us then to go to the next understanding. It allows us to step into the next experience much more adroitly. We have the confidence of our understandings of other experiences, that they mean something, that they can be felt. They are intimate and personal. And as a result, you don't need courage to enter into the next experience because you seek it. I seek it. I am very eager for my experiences to unfold in my life, to feel them, to have that intimacy that comes from connecting with the divine, because that is what they are to me. They are divine encounters. They are opportunities for me to enter into the stream of life force in an expanding cosmos. I love it. I don't always know what's going on. I can't necessarily tell. The cosmos unfolds in a way that's unique to itself. And the beings of the cosmos are ready to assist, to be part of that. And that is the joy and mystery that I experience. That there's an unknowing quality to the joy of life force that makes me want to see how the painting will unfold. What will it look like? What will it feel like? How will I be part of it? And how can I look back in my life and say, I was able to savor those experiences in their fullness as much as I possibly could? As poetic experiences, I mean, the didactic learning that most of us are subjected to can be helpful, but the essence of what I'm learning is soul learning. It's powerful learning of my own being, and that being has value in its context as a being. I am a being. And so what we learn from history is that the record of beings and their successes is clear. We can tell what other civilizations and beings have done to afford their success. Their love of family and their love of productivity and of feeding themselves and enjoying the bounty of the earth, that can be seen. The despoilers and those who are plundering the earth, well, we can see their record. We can see the waste that they have left behind. And so it's easy for us to see, well, what makes a gardener, what makes that Garden of Eden still tenable, still tillable for us in our own way? Because just because we were kicked out of the garden doesn't mean that we can't access what the garden has to offer in the context of our current reality. There's something still here. We are available. It's clear that we are part of something divine. Do we experience the fullness of it that we might? Perhaps not. But we can experience it. We can taste it. It's the yearning that we experience that takes us into the life force of the expansion of the universe. It's that yearning. And so what is here for us to yearn for. It's what is the powerful life force that we can see and be part of. And we can engage it, and we can yearn for it. And in that yearning, it's an opportunity for meditation, to take those images and to embrace them, and to, when we embrace them, feel them. I mean, that's been very true of my meditation. For me to take the image that occurs in front of me and bring it into myself, to physically move the image into my heart, into my chest, and to experience that image is a powerful thing, a physical thing. Goosebumps and all sorts of wonderful things occur as that image comes into me. That's my image of the reality of the world that I'm in. And it's no longer an icon, but it is a being that is now part of me, an aspect of being that's part of me. So I encourage you to spend time really examining your own experiences, and find one when you were a child, an event that happened to you, a moment, a seeing, a experience, a feeling, And spend a little time with that. And say to yourself as you examine it, well, what else is there? What else can I learn from this? So in a way, it's a lot like dream analysis. We go into a dream and we have the dream and we end up with an image, which is the image of ourselves, because dreams are about us. And then you can examine that dream. You can say to yourself, well, what color was the leaves? What were they? What was the weather like in my dream? What was the room like? Were there other people? What were they like? How were they dressed? What did they say? Did they write anything down? What entered into the dream that came from a place that I didn't understand? A character or an event or a being somehow appeared, an animal. So as we begin to answer those questions to ourselves and to studiously begin to engage the dream, we are engaging reality on a different level to increase the experience of the dream, to know more about what the dream was about and say, well, that allows the dream to unfold. And therefore more meaning arrives and we were able to connect it and to make sense of it in a way that's different than when we woke up. The dream expands and we understand its expansion in a powerful way, and that expansion allows for the opportunity of the next image to come to us, the next experience, the next feeling. How did you feel in that dream? How was it? And the feelings of the dream, the dread or the terror or the joy or the expectation, the context of the dream are very important things. Because the context of our life is very important. What are we seeing going on around us? What are people wearing? What are they saying to each other? What kind of events are happening? Is there music? Are there images? Are people taking pictures? Are they talking to each other? Those are the kind of questions that can be asked and understood in the context of our meditations. What else was happening besides what I was able to immediately understand? Well, in my experience, there's a lot. There's a lot that we can learn about beauty and wilderness work because those things show up. We are pointed to them to go back into the wilderness of the dream. What was there? What else was there peering out from behind the branches of the trees? How can we see that? What messages floated by on the stream? What were our considerations as we saw those things? And so that's what I commend to you today and to myself to continue, because the messages of the world around us are so confusing, they're so contradictory, and they are so on purpose. They are meant to confound us. They are meant to bring confusion and distortion and an inability to concentrate on what's going on because of the very nature of the information. And I'm saying that can be understood in a different way as we interpret those events through our own experience. We get to know what it is that's happening by the nature of the confusion, by the nature of the information. We can see the distortion and the personalities that are revealing themselves for their own gain, their own lust, power, greed. They want things, and they're willing to shape and shift information around so that they can get what they want. It's personalities. These are personalities lusting for power and for grievances. Can you imagine lusting after grievance for political gain? But that's what's happening. And those are the powers of personality. And those personalities will, in fact, be reduced. They will return to their bestial nature because they're not beings. They are grievance merchants. They are looking for their own power and glorification. They want to be recognized. They want the attention of others who succumb to those wiles. That's what they want. But understanding our own experience tells us quickly not to respond to them, to say, no, that's just your personality. You're lurching into a bestiality to get what you want, to do anything for that, to do anything for that attention and recognition. And in a true understanding, we would not give it because it is not something that comes out of beauty, that comes out of the naturalness of our wilderness experience. Although it can be very terrifying, it's authentic, it's real. And it shows us the nature of the cosmos and allows us to walk with certainty and confidence, even though it's a difficult path, because the path is a beautiful path, great beauty. So that's my meditation for today. I thank you for your attention. Write to me, go to solospiritus.com. There's a little form there to fill out if you want to say hi, and perhaps tell me of your experiences. Amen.